Hey folks, it's Lizzy from the Stanton Public Library, and today I'm here to tell you about 5 new young adult books I think you're going to like. I've got 4 novels and 1 nonfiction, and I didn't do this on purpose, but there is kind of a survival theme running throughout this set. The first one is kind of like horror movie survival. We've got a paranormal urban fantasy horror novel. I'm actually going to show you this one, which is new, which is the sequel, but tell you about the first one. So this is Category 5. It's by Anne Davila Cardinal. And book number 1, which came out last year, is called 5 Midnights. I don't have it here because it's on my nightstand at home because I'm still reading it. If you like the kind of teen slasher novel, There's Someone Inside Your House by Stephanie Perkins, this has a very similar feel. It has multiple points of view, so you go back and forth between the main characters, but you also get secondary characters' points of view and even victims' points of view. This takes place on the island of Puerto Rico. You've got the main character, Lupe, who's from Vermont and is visiting her uncle, who's the police chief there. And she kind of gets involved in some of the cases that he's working on. There's also another main character named Javier, who's from Puerto Rico, who used to be involved in a lot of gang activity and is now on the straight and narrow. And Lupe and Javier kind of team up to try to solve these grisly murders that are happening to Javier's friends on the island. You don't know necessarily if they're paranormal, if there's a monster, or if it's a murderer, or a combination of both. But it's a really nice mix of like a mystery detective story, a slasher, and there's even a little bit of romance as well. Definitely check out 5 Midnights first if you're interested in the series. I promise I will try to read it and finish it as quickly as I can. Next up, we have a debut novel. It's Happily Ever Afters by Elise Bryant. If you are going through Jenny Han withdrawal, you've read To All the Boys I Loved Before series, seen the movies, and you want something sweet and light that's heartfelt, this is a great choice. It's about a girl named Tessa. She's 16. She loves writing. She loves writing romance specifically. And she's trying to get into this high school that has a really good writing program, but she's basically got romantic writer's block. She cannot get a project together that she can submit. So her friend Caroline, in kind of movie hijinks scenario, sets her up on these like romance story quests. You know, all of the tropes that you would write about in a romance novel, Tessa's got to kind of tackle them. Fake dating, things like that. But Tessa realizes that maybe those situations, the fictional ones, aren't as romantic as maybe the messier real-life ones. It's a really sweet story. I think if you are still having the feels from Valentine's Day, definitely pick it up. Okay, the next book is The Girls Ive Been by Tess Sharp. This has just been optioned for a Netflix film starring Millie Bobby Brown, so you'll definitely want to read it before that goes into production. And I read a review of the book yesterday that called this a triumph. Now, this is essentially like a bank heist thriller, at least at the setup, and it's a girl with her ex-boyfriend and current girlfriend who ends up in a bank where they are being held hostage. Now, the other part of the plot is that this girl, Nora, the protagonist, was raised by a con artist and so is very sharp and manipulative, and there's a sense that she's going to use her resiliency and power to get out of this situation. This book does talk about family abuse and kind of past trauma, but it does so in a really sophisticated and thoughtful way. If you are a fan of action adventure or survival stories like Hatchet by Gary Paulson, you're going to want to check out April Henry. And her newest book is Playing with Fire. Now, she's actually got a bunch. Let me show you. Her most famous one is probably Girl Stolen, and then her 2 most recent are Run, Hide, Fight Back, and The Girl in the White Van. And her stories tend to be a little bit shorter, around 250 pages, so they go very quickly. This one is about a group of friends who are stuck in the forest. They were hiking on like a popular trail, and they are cut off by a wildfire. So it's kind of the ultimate wilderness survival story. If you like This one, be sure to check out some of her other ones. They do vary in theme, but they've all kind of got that fast-paced action at the center of them. The last book I want to tell you about was a big award winner this year at the Youth Media Awards. I know you probably don't care about that, but to me, it's very exciting. So this book is called All 13. It's by Christina Soontornvat. It's about the incredible cave rescue of the Thai boys soccer team, which happened, I think, in 2018. I don't know if you remember it on the news at all. But the boys were just like having a break from playing and went into this cave that's normally just like open where they can play, and it filled up with floodwaters. And so this story, which is written by a Thai American who was actually in Thailand while this was happening, visiting family, this book tells the true story of all those boys and the rescue effort. So you can kind of see it looks like a traditional nonfiction book, but it's got lots of photos. The text is not too dense, but it also tells you a little bit about the culture of Thailand. Like, for instance, this section's about Buddhism. So you're not only learning about rescue operations and the boys' stories, but also about Thailand in general. Again, if you like a true-to-life survival story, or even if you've only read fictional ones, I highly recommend this, and so do a lot of people who gave it top awards this year. Okay, my friends, thank you for joining me for What's New in YA, and I'll be back again in 2 weeks with some more recommendations. If there's anything coming out this spring that you'd like me to preview or talk about, or a genre you'd like me to focus on, let me know. I'll see you again soon.